My wife bragged at lunch about sleeping with my coworkers, not knowing one of them was recording her. I'm a 29-year-old paramedic working 12-hour shifts in downtown Chicago. My wife Amanda is a trauma nurse at the same hospital where we met 3 years ago during a chaotic code blue. She was incredible that night. Calm, precise, life-saving. I fell hard watching her work. We got married after dating for 2 years. Small ceremony, mostly hospital staff. Everyone said we were the perfect medical power couple. Both saving lives, both understanding the crazy schedules, both supporting each other through the hardest job in the world. Last Friday started like any other. I was restocking our ambulance when my partner Adam walked up looking like he'd seen a ghost. Adam's been my partner for 4 years. We've pulled bodies out of car wrecks together, worked overdoses, delivered babies in parking lots. Nothing shakes this guy. "Danny, I need to show you something," he said, pulling out his phone. "But promise you won't lose it here at work." My stomach dropped. In emergency medicine, nothing good ever follows that kind of warning. He hit play on a recording. Amanda's laugh filled the air. That same laugh I fell in love with. Then her voice, clear as day. "I've hooked up with 3 different guys from the ER this month alone. Poor Danny thinks I'm pulling doubles, but I'm actually at the Marriott downtown most nights." Another woman's voice. "Aren't you worried he'll find out? You guys work at the same hospital." Amanda again. "Please, he's so sweet and trusting. It's almost pathetic. Brings me coffee every morning before his shift. Texts me during calls asking if I need anything. The guilt would eat him alive before he'd ever suspect me. Besides, I'm already apartment hunting. His paramedic salary barely covers our rent. I need someone with real money. Maybe one of the doctors." Adam explained he'd been grabbing lunch at Cafe Luna yesterday when he heard Amanda's distinctive laugh from the booth behind him. When he realized what she was discussing, he started recording, knowing I'd need evidence. I stared at the phone for a long moment, then handed it back. Adam watched me carefully, probably expecting me to punch something or break down crying. Instead, I just nodded and said, "Thanks, man. Send me that file." That night, I drove home in complete silence. Found Amanda in our kitchen still in scrubs, looking exhausted. She was meal prepping for the week. Chicken, rice, vegetables portioned into containers. "Long day, babe?" I asked, kissing her forehead like I had 1,000 times before. "You have no idea," she sighed, leaning into me. "Dr. Nguyen had me running all over the ICU. I'm absolutely drained." Dr. Nguyen, I wondered if he was one of the 3. Instead of confronting her immediately, I decided to get strategic. Working in a hospital gives you certain advantages. Everyone knows everyone. Gossip travels faster than medication, orders, and there's zero tolerance for drama that affects patient care. I'm friends with every ER doctor, nurse, tech, and orderly in the building. We've all worked together through traumas, codes, and disasters. We trust each other with lives every single day. Over the weekend, I did some detective work, checked our joint credit card statements, found charges at the Marriott on nights Amanda claimed she was working doubles, hotel bar receipts for 2 people, Uber rides to addresses that weren't the hospital. Monday morning, I asked Adam to join me for coffee with Dr. Chang, Dr. Kim, and Scott from radiology. Coincidentally, the 3 guys Amanda had mentioned in group texts I'd now started paying attention to. I simply played Adam's recording, no commentary needed. The reaction was immediate. Dr. Chang went pale. Dr. Kim started apologizing profusely. Scott just put his head in his hands. "Guys," I said calmly, "I'm not here to cause drama, but you should know. Hospital policy is very strict about workplace relationships that create hostile environments or compromise patient care." Scott suddenly stood up, knocking his chair backward. "You want to know about hostile work environments? Your wife isn't just cheating. She's been blackmailing people, me included." Dr. Chang and Dr. Kim went silent. Scott's voice cracked. "She got me drunk, took photos, and said she'd send them to my wife unless I gave her access to my hospital passwords. I've been covering for her stealing medications for 2 months." My mind reeled. Dr. Kim added quietly, "She has something on all of us. That's why we couldn't say no." Behind me, I heard Amanda's voice from the doorway. I turned around slowly, and there she was, frozen like someone had hit pause on her life. Her face drained of all color, eyes wide, mouth opening and closing like she was trying to find words that wouldn't come. She looked between me and the 3 guys sitting at the table, and I could literally see the moment everything clicked for her. "Danny, I can explain," she started, but her voice was shaking so badly it barely sounded like her. "Sit down," I said. My voice came out calm, way calmer than I felt inside. "We need to discuss hospital security footage and medication logs." She didn't move, just stood there gripping the doorframe like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Scott wasn't having it. He pulled out his phone, hands trembling as he scrolled through something. "You want explanations? Fine, let's start with these." He turned his phone toward Amanda, then showed the rest of us. Screenshot after screenshot of text messages, threatening messages. Her name right there at the top. "Give me your access codes or your wife sees these photos. I need you to look the other way Thursday night, 11 p.m. medication room. Transfer $500 to this account by Friday or everyone knows what you did." The messages went on and on. My stomach twisted into knots. "She threatened to destroy my marriage," Scott said, his voice breaking. "I have 2 kids. I couldn't risk it. So I helped her steal medications. I'm not proud of it, but honestly, I was terrified." Amanda's face had gone from pale to bright red. "You recorded our private conversations? That's illegal." "So is blackmail," Adam said from behind me, "and medication theft, and about 15 other things you've been doing." Dr. Chang cleared his throat, looking like he might throw up. "I need to come clean about about something too. He glanced at me apologetically. Amanda convinced me to falsify patient records to cover her shift absences. She said her mom was sick, that she needed time off but couldn't officially request it because she'd used all her PTO. I thought I was helping someone in a bad situation. And? I asked, keeping my voice level. And I found out last week she was at the Marriott those days. I saw her Instagram story, you know, the one where she tags locations? She was posting from the hotel bar. He rubbed his face with both hands. I felt like such an idiot. Dr. Kim had been quiet this whole time, but now he pulled out his phone too. I have something else you all need to see. He turned his screen around. Bank statements, wire transfers, deposits from an account I didn't recognize. Amanda's been receiving payments, Dr. Kim explained. I noticed because she asked me to help her set up a separate account. Said it was for a surprise for you, Danny. Said she was saving up for a house. But look at these amounts. These aren't savings deposits. These are large, consistent payments. I leaned in closer. $2,400, $1,800, $3,200, all within the past 2 months. She's not just stealing medications for personal use, Dr. Kim said quietly. She's selling them. Has to be. These amounts match street value for prescription painkillers and anxiety medications. The room went silent except for the sound of Amanda's rapid breathing. I stood up, blocking the doorway before she could bolt. You're not leaving. Hospital security chief is already reviewing badge access logs. They're going to show you entering the medication storage room during shifts you claim to be working in other departments. You can't prove anything, Amanda hissed, but there was no confidence in her voice anymore. Actually, a new voice said from the hallway, we can. I turned to see Martin Crawford, our hospital security chief, walking toward us with a manila folder in his hands. The guy's ex-military, built like a tank, and doesn't mess around when it comes to hospital security. Danny called me an hour ago, Martin said, nodding at me. Asked me to pull some records. I'm glad he did. He opened the folder and spread out several pages on the table. These are badge access logs for the past month. Amanda Chen, trauma nurse, badge number 4782. He pointed at the printouts. 17 unauthorized entries into the controlled medication storage room. And here's the interesting part. Every single entry occurred during time periods when your badge also showed you clocked in at completely different locations in the hospital. Amanda's hands were shaking now. I had permission to access that room. I'm a nurse. Not at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday when you're supposed to be off shift, Martin said flatly. Not when the pharmacy has no record of any legitimate orders or patient needs. And definitely not 17 times in 30 days. He flipped to another page. Here's your badge accessing the ER on October 3rd at 10 p.m. But security footage shows you leaving the building at 9:15 p.m. So either you've learned to be in two places at once or someone else used your badge. He paused. Except the cameras in the medication room clearly show you wearing scrubs, filling your pockets with pill bottles. Amanda started backing away from the doorway, right into the hallway wall. There's more, Martin continued. We started pulling footage after Danny's call. We've got you on camera meeting with 3 different individuals in the parking garage. All 3 meetings involved exchanges, them handing you cash, you handing them pill bottles. You want to see the footage? No, she whispered. I think we all do, I said. Martin pulled out a tablet and hit play. There was Amanda, clear as day, in the parking garage under the yellowish lights. A guy in a hoodie approached her, handed her a wad of cash. She counted it, nodded, then pulled a bottle from her purse and handed it over. The whole transaction took maybe 30 seconds. That was filmed 6 days ago, Martin said. We have 4 more just like it from the past 2 weeks. The reality of what my wife had been doing hit me like a punch to the chest. This wasn't just cheating. This wasn't even just stealing. She was dealing drugs. My wife was a drug dealer. Dr. Chang looked like he might pass out. I helped her falsify records for this? I could lose my license. We all could, Dr. Kim said quietly. Amanda's tough exterior finally cracked. Her eyes filled with tears and she slumped against the wall. It wasn't supposed to go this far, she said, her voice breaking. It started small. I just needed extra money because Danny's salary wasn't enough, and don't you dare blame me for this, I interrupted. We had enough. We were doing fine. You wanted more, and instead of talking to me about it, you decided to become a criminal. She wiped her eyes, and for a second I almost felt bad for her. Almost. I've been seeing someone, she admitted. And even though I already knew, hearing her say it out loud still stung. Dr. Harrison from cardiology. He's the one who suggested I could make extra money. He has private practice patients who pay cash for medications. He said it was no big deal that everyone does it. Dr. Harrison? Martin's eyebrows shot up. David Harrison? Amanda nodded, tears streaming down her face now. Oh, this just keeps getting better, Martin muttered. He pulled out his radio. Someone get Dr. Harrison to conference room B immediately. Martin, I don't think... Dr. Kim started. Hospital security overrides hospital politics. Martin cut him off. If we have a physician involved in drug trafficking, that's a federal issue, not just a hospital issue. We waited in tense silence for about 5 minutes. I couldn't stop staring at Amanda, this person I thought I knew, wondering how I'd missed all the signs. How had I not noticed she was capable of something like this? Dr. Harrison walked in looking annoyed, like he'd been interrupted from something important. He was wearing an expensive suit, perfectly tailored, his silver hair styled just right. The guy looked like he belonged in a cologne ad, not a hospital. What's this about? He asked, then saw Amanda's tear-stained face and stopped. Oh, Dr. Harrison, Martin said. Please have a seat. I don't think that's necessary. I have a procedure in 20 minutes. You did, Martin corrected. It's been rescheduled. Sit down. Something in Martin's tone made Dr. Harrison comply. He sat down slowly, eyes darting between Amanda and the rest of us. How long have you been running your little side business? Martin asked. I don't know what you're talking about. Scott laughed bitterly. Dude, just give it up. We all know. Dr. Harrison's jaw tightened. I don't have to answer questions without a lawyer present. That's interesting, Martin said, because nobody's arrested you yet. We're just having a conversation. He leaned forward. But if you want a lawyer up for a conversation, that tells me everything I need to know. I watched Dr. Harrison's face carefully. The guy was panicking behind his smooth exterior. You learn to read people in emergency medicine, and this man was scrambling internally. Amanda already told us everything, I lied. Well, partially lied. About the private practice patients, the cash payments, the stolen medications. Dr. Harrison shot Amanda a look of pure fury. You stupid. Don't, I warned him. Don't finish that sentence. He clenched his fists but stayed quiet. Scott wasn't done though. He pulled up something else on his phone. Remember that conversation we had 2 weeks ago, Dr. Harrison? The one where you and Amanda were discussing which medications would sell for the most money? Dr. Harrison went pale. You recorded that? I recorded everything, Scott said. The moment I realized what you two were doing, I started recording. I knew I'd need proof that I was being coerced. He hit play. Amanda's voice came through first. The Percocet goes for about $200 per bottle if we find the right buyers, but the Xanax is easier to move quickly. Dr. Harrison's voice responded. Focus on the Xanax then. My patients need consistent supply and they'll pay premium for convenience. Just make sure you're not taking so much that pharmacy notices all at once. Amanda again. I'm not stupid, David. I know how to spread it out. The recording continued, detailing prices, amounts, even specific patient names. Scott had at least 5 minutes of audio, all of it damning. Dr. Harrison stood up so fast his chair fell backward. This is entrapment. You can't use that. It's not entrapment when you willingly had the conversation, Martin said calmly. Scott wasn't law enforcement, and he wasn't coercing you into anything. You two just happened to discuss your illegal activities while someone was recording. That's on you. The door opened again, and I saw Chief of Staff Dr. Patricia Winters walk in. She's been running this hospital for 15 years, and in all that time I'd never seen her look as furious as she did right now. Someone want to explain, she said, her voice ice cold, why I just received an email with video evidence of one of my nurses dealing drugs in our parking garage. Nobody spoke. No. All right then. She looked at Martin. Show me everything. For the next 20 minutes, Martin walked Dr. Winters through all the evidence. The badge access logs, the security footage, the bank statements, the recordings. She watched it all in silence, her expression getting darker with each new revelation. And when it was done, she stood up and looked at Amanda and Dr. Harrison. You're both fired. Effective immediately. Your building access is revoked. Your hospital email accounts will be terminated within the hour. And you have exactly 15 minutes to collect your personal belongings from your lockers under security escort. After that, if you set foot on hospital property, you will be arrested for trespassing. You can't just fire me, Dr. Harrison protested. I have patients, contracts, I'm in the middle of... You should have thought about that before you decided to turn my hospital into your personal drug dealing operation, Dr. Winters snapped. Your patients will be reassigned. Your contracts are terminated for cause, which means no severance, no payout. And you're lucky I'm giving you 15 minutes instead of having security drag you out in handcuffs right now. She turned to Amanda. And you. I vouched for you when you transferred here. I told everyone you were one of the best trauma nurses I'd ever worked with. I defended you when there were complaints about your attitude. I believed in you. Her voice cracked slightly. You've betrayed every single person in this hospital, not just your husband. Amanda was sobbing now, mascara running down her face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I never meant for... Get out of my sight, Dr. Winters said coldly. Martin gestured toward the door. I'll escort them out. Wait, I said. Everyone turned to look at me. The apartment. We share an apartment. I need to know what to do about that. Dr. Winters' expression softened slightly. Danny, the hospital has an employee support program. We offer temporary relocation assistance for staff going through difficult circumstances. Talk to HR this afternoon. We'll make sure you're taken care of. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. As Martin led Amanda and Dr. Harrison out, Amanda tried to catch my eye. Danny, please, we can talk about this. I love you. I made mistakes, but you don't get to do that, I said quietly. You don't get to use love as an excuse for this. What you did wasn't a mistake. It was a series of calculated choices. You chose to cheat. You chose to steal. You chose to blackmail people. You chose to deal drugs. Those weren't mistakes, Amanda. That's who you are. She opened her mouth to respond, but Martin pulled her toward the door. Let's go. After they left, the room stayed silent for a long moment. Dr. Winters looked at the three guys, Scott, Dr. Chang, and Dr. Kim. I'm going to need full written statements from all of you. Be honest about your involvement. If you were coerced, say so. If you made poor decisions, own them. The hospital board is going to review everything, and there may be consequences, but honesty is your best option right now. They all nodded. She turned to me. Danny, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. If you need time off, I don't, I said quickly. I need to work actually. I need normal. I need to feel like I'm still good at something. She studied me for a moment, then nodded. All right, but if that changes, you let me know. And Danny, you did the right thing bringing this forward. A lot of people would have tried to handle it quietly or swept it under the rug. You potentially saved lives by exposing this. After she left, Adam put a hand on my shoulder. You okay, man? Honestly, I have no idea. Fair enough. He checked his watch. Our shift starts in an hour. You sure you're up for it? Yeah, I said, and I meant it. Let's go save some lives. At least that's something I know how to do. The rest of that day was a blur. Word spread through the hospital like wildfire, and by the end of my shift, at least a dozen different people had approached me to offer support or share their own horror stories about Amanda. Apparently, she'd been worse than I'd realized. I was restocking the ambulance when Adam came back from grabbing us both coffee. You should see the group chat, he said, handing me my cup. Everyone's talking about it. Hospital grapevine is going insane. What are they saying? Mix of things. Mostly supportive of you, but there's also a lot of people saying they suspected something was off about Amanda for a while. Some nurse from the ICU said Amanda tried to recruit her into the scheme months ago, but she reported it to HR and nothing happened. That made me pause. Someone reported her? Apparently. And HR did nothing. Dr. Winters is probably going to have some heads roll in that department too. I shook my head, trying to process everything. My marriage was over. My wife was a drug dealer. I'd exposed a major theft and blackmail operation at my workplace. And apparently HR had known something was wrong and ignored it. This is so messed up, I muttered. Yeah, Adam agreed. But hey, at least you found out before you had kids with her or something. That was true. Small blessings. My phone buzzed. I pulled it out and saw a text from an unknown number. Danny, this is Amanda's mom. I just heard what happened. I'm so sorry. I always knew Amanda had problems, but I thought she'd grown out of them. If you need anything, please let me know. I stared at the message for a long moment, then showed it to Adam. Her mom sounds decent, he said. Yeah, too bad her daughter didn't turn out the same way. Over the next few hours, I got similar messages from a few of Amanda's family members. Her brother even called me, apologizing profusely and explaining that Amanda had already started telling people I was the one who cheated, that I was controlling and abusive, that she was the victim in all of this. I believed her at first, he admitted, but then I talked to Mom and Mom said something wasn't adding up. So I called the hospital directly and spoke to someone in security. They told me what really happened. I'm really sorry, man. My sister's a liar and I should have known better. It's not your fault, I said. She fooled me too, for 3 years. Still, family's supposed to know. I feel like we all just ignored the warning signs because it was easier than dealing with her. He paused. For what it's worth, she's always been like this. In high school, she got caught stealing from other students' lockers. In college, she got expelled from her first nursing program for cheating. My parents kept bailing her out, kept making excuses. I think that's why she never learned. That explained so much. Thanks for calling, I said. I appreciate it. Yeah, man. Take care of yourself. After I hung up, Adam raised an eyebrow. So she's been a mess her whole life, apparently. And somehow you had no idea. I shrugged. She was good at hiding it. Or maybe I just wanted to believe she was better than she was. I don't know. The next morning, I went to HR like Dr. Winters suggested. The woman behind the desk, Carol, immediately pulled up my file. Danny Reeves, right? Dr. Winters sent me an email about your situation. First, I want to say how sorry I am. Second, here's what we can do. She explained that the hospital had partnerships with several apartment complexes nearby, specifically for situations like this where employees needed emergency housing. We can get you into a furnished studio apartment by this weekend, Carol said. Hospital will cover first month's rent and security deposit. After that, it's on you, but at least it gives you time to figure things out. That's incredibly generous, I said, feeling overwhelmed by the kindness. You've been working here for 6 years, Danny. You're a good paramedic and you're well liked. The hospital takes care of its people. She handed me some paperwork. Fill these out and we'll get everything processed. I spent the rest of that day in a weird fog, going through motions but not really present. It wasn't until I got back to the apartment that evening, our apartment, that everything hit me. This was my home, or it had been. Now it just felt like a museum of lies. Every photo on the wall, every piece of furniture we'd picked out together, every little thing that had once meant something, now it all felt tainted. I called Adam. Hey, can you help me pack some stuff tomorrow? Absolutely, man. What time? Amanda's supposed to be at her mom's house until the weekend, so anytime during the day. I'll be there at 9. True to his word, Adam showed up the next morning with boxes and coffee. We spent the next several hours packing up my essentials, clothes, books, my gaming setup, anything that was clearly mine. Dude, where's your good jacket? Adam asked from the bedroom. Hall closet should be. I stopped. Actually, check the bedroom closet first. I think Amanda might have moved some stuff around. He disappeared into the bedroom and I heard him rummaging through things. Then silence. Adam? Danny? You need to see this. I walked into the bedroom and found Adam holding a notebook, the kind you'd use for journaling. His face looked grim. I found this in her nightstand. I wasn't snooping, I was just looking for your jacket, and I took the notebook from him. It's fine. I opened it and immediately felt sick. The first page was dated 8 months ago. It was titled Financial Freedom Plan in Amanda's handwriting. Underneath she'd written, current situation, Danny makes $52K a year. Not enough for the lifestyle I want. Need to find alternative income sources and/or new partner with better earning potential. I flipped to the next page. It was a list of doctors at the hospital with notes next to each name. Dr. Harrison, cardiology, private practice, estimated $400K year, married but unhappy, easy target. Dr. Kim, surgery, divorced, $350K year, seems desperate for connection. Dr. Chang, ER, married, $280K that year, people pleaser, easy to manipulate. My hands were shaking as I kept reading. There were more pages, detailed notes about each doctor's schedule, their weaknesses, what she could use against them. There were even notes about their families, their insecurities, everything she'd need to manipulate them. And then I found the section about me. Danny, pros, trusting, caring, won't suspect anything, easy to control, will believe any excuse. Cons, poor, too nice, boring, no ambition. Keep him around until I find someone better. He'll be easy to divorce, probably won't even fight for anything. I had to sit down on the bed. Adam was reading over my shoulder. Holy shit, he breathed. She's been planning this for months. I flipped through more pages. There were notes about hiding assets, strategies for maximizing what she could take in a divorce, even draft lies she could tell people about me being abusive or controlling. This is sociopath-level planning, Adam said. I couldn't speak. Just kept reading page after page of her calculating every single aspect of our marriage, our relationship, my life. The last entry was from 3 weeks ago. Dr. Harrison is ready to leave his wife. Says he'll help me get an apartment downtown, somewhere nice. Just need to keep stealing meds for a few more months to build up savings. Then I can leave Danny without needing anything from him. He'll probably cry when I tell him, but he'll get over it. They always do. I closed the notebook and just sat there. Danny, Adam started. Take pictures of every page, I said quietly. I want documentation of all of this. Already on it. He pulled out his phone and started photographing each page methodically. When he was done, I put the notebook back exactly where Amanda had hidden it. Part of me wanted to destroy it, to pretend I'd never seen it, but a bigger part knew I'd need this if the divorce got ugly. We finished packing in silence. By early afternoon, Adam's truck was loaded with my stuff and we drove to the new apartment the hospital had set up for me. It was small, really small. Studio apartment on the 3rd floor of an older building, but it was clean, furnished with basics, and most importantly, it was mine. No lies hidden in nightstands, no secret plans to destroy me, just a simple, honest space. This is actually kind of nice, Adam said, looking around. Like a fresh start, you know? Yeah, I agreed. It really is. We spent the rest of the afternoon unpacking. By evening, I had my clothes in the closet, my books on the shelf, my gaming setup on the desk. It didn't look like much, but it felt more like home than the apartment I'd shared with Amanda ever had. My phone started buzzing around 7 p.m. I looked at the screen and saw Amanda's name. Text after text started flooding in. Danny, I'm so sorry. Please call me. I made mistakes, but we can work through this. You're really going to throw away 3 years over this? I never meant to hurt you. You know I love you. Then the tone shifted. You're ruining my life. I'm going to tell everyone the truth about what a controlling asshole you are. You're going to regret this. My lawyer is going to destroy you in the divorce. I screenshot every single message and saved them to a cloud folder. Then I blocked her number. She losing it? Adam asked, seeing my face. Yep. Went from apologetic to threatening in about 10 messages. Classic manipulator move. You did the right thing blocking her. I nodded, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt. Part of me still wanted to believe the Amanda I'd fallen in love with was real, that the person I'd married actually existed somewhere under all the lies. But that notebook made it clear she'd never been who I thought she was. The next few days were weird. I'd show up for my shift and people would either be overly nice to me or avoid me completely. The hospital grapevine had exploded with versions of the story, some accurate, some wildly exaggerated. One rumor claimed Amanda had been running a full drug operation out of the hospital pharmacy for over a year. Another said she'd been sleeping with half the medical staff. A third suggested I'd known about it all along and was only exposing her now out of revenge. Scott found me in the break room on Wednesday. Hey, I wanted to thank you again, he said, sitting down across from me. For exposing everything, I mean. I know it couldn't have been easy. Yeah, well, it needed to happen. Still, he looked down at his coffee cup. I need to tell you something. A few weeks ago, he trailed off, struggling with the words. I almost didn't come to work one morning. I had my wife's pills out on the counter, the whole bottle. I was going to take all of them. My blood ran cold. Scott, Amanda's blackmail was destroying me, he continued. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. My wife kept asking what was wrong and I couldn't tell her. The guilt was eating me alive. I genuinely thought my family would be better off without me. What stopped you? My daughter. She came downstairs early for school and found me sitting there staring at the pills. She didn't know what they were, just asked if I was sick, and something about her voice, I don't know. I put the pills away and called in sick instead. Spent the whole day trying to figure out how to fix everything. He looked up at me, eyes red. If you hadn't exposed Amanda when you did, I honestly don't know if I'd still be here. So yeah, thank you. I didn't know what to say. I'd been so focused on my own pain, my own betrayal, that I hadn't really thought about how many other people Amanda had hurt. I'm glad you're still here, I finally said. And I'm sorry you went through that. Not your fault, man. That's all on her. Later that day, I got called into a meeting with Dr. Winters and Martin Crawford. They had me sit down and pulled out yet another folder. We've completed our full audit of the pharmacy, Martin said. The total value of stolen medications exceeds $30,000. Amanda Amanda's access codes are linked to most of the discrepancies, but there's also evidence that Dr. Harrison had been accessing the medication room using stolen administrative codes. Dr. Winters added, "The hospital board met this morning. They've decided to report both Amanda and Dr. Harrison to the State Medical Licensing Board and to law enforcement. This goes beyond internal disciplinary action now. What they did is criminal." "Okay," I said, not really sure how to respond. "We also want you to know," Dr. Winters continued, "that the board reviewed the HR complaint that was filed about Amanda months ago. The complaint was legitimate and HR failed to properly investigate. 3 people in that department have been terminated as of this morning for negligence." That was something, at least. "One more thing," Martin said. "Dr. Harrison's wife showed up at the hospital this morning, demanding to speak with someone. She was pretty upset. Do you want to talk to her?" I thought about it for a moment. Yeah, I guess. She deserves to know the truth too. They set up a meeting in one of the conference rooms. Mrs. Harrison, whose first name was Patricia, walked in looking exhausted. She was probably in her late 40s, dressed professionally, clearly upset but trying to hold it together. "Thank you for meeting with me," she said, sitting down across from me. "I'm sure this is the last thing you want to deal with." "It's fine," I said. "I can't imagine this is easy for you either." She laughed bitterly. "That's an understatement. My husband told me yesterday that he wants a divorce. Just came home, said he was leaving me for someone else and that I shouldn't fight him on the settlement or he'd make things difficult." She paused. "I'm guessing that someone else is your wife?" "Ex-wife soon," I corrected. "But yes," Patricia nodded. "He told me we were struggling financially, convinced me to pick up extra shifts at my job so we could make ends meet. I'm a teacher, so I started tutoring after school, working weekends. Turns out we weren't struggling at all. He was just hiding money so he could spend it on her." She pulled out her phone and showed me bank statements. Large withdrawals, cash advances, all matching up with the dates I'd seen on Amanda's credit card. "He spent over $15,000 on her in 3 months, Patricia said. "Hotels, jewelry, fancy dinners. Meanwhile, I was eating ramen because I thought we couldn't afford real groceries. The audacity of it was staggering." "I'm really sorry," I said, and meant it. "The hospital's lawyer told me about the drug dealing," Patricia continued. "Said my husband was involved in some kind of illegal scheme with your wife. Is that true?" I nodded. "They were stealing medications and selling them. Made a lot of money doing it." Patricia's face crumpled. "He's going to lose his medical license, isn't he?" "Probably." "Good." Her voice turned hard. "He doesn't deserve to practice medicine. And honestly, I hope they throw him in jail. I spent 20 years supporting his career, raising our kids, keeping our home. And this is how he repays me?" We talked for another hour. She shared more details about Dr. Harrison's behavior, how he'd become secretive and hostile over the past few months, how he'd gaslit her when she questioned the money situation. It was like listening to my own story, but from another angle. When she left, she hugged me. "We're going to get through this," she said. "Both of us. We're survivors." I wasn't sure I felt like a survivor yet, but I appreciated the sentiment. That evening, I moved the last of my stuff out of the apartment I'd shared with Amanda. She still hadn't come back yet, staying with her mother according to Adam, who'd driven by to check. I did one final walkthrough, making sure I hadn't forgotten anything important. And that's when I realized she'd already been moving her stuff out. Half the closet was empty. Her favorite books were gone from the shelf. Even some of our joint purchases, our nice coffee maker, the good speakers, had disappeared. She'd been planning to leave for a while, just waiting for the right moment. I left the keys on the kitchen counter and walked out. The next morning, I got a call from my landlord, Mr. Peterson. He was an older guy, retired, owned a few properties around the city. "Danny, I heard about what happened with your wife," he said. "Amanda called me yesterday asking about breaking the lease." "Yeah, we're getting divorced. I've already moved out." "That's what I figured. Look, I'm going to be straight with you. Legally, you're both on the lease for another 6 months. But I'm willing to let you out of it early given the circumstances." "Really? That's incredibly generous. I've been a landlord for 30 years. I can spot dishonest people pretty quick, and your wife gave me bad vibes from day one. You, on the other hand, never missed rent, never caused problems, fixed things yourself when you could. I appreciate that." He paused. "Plus, my brother's a paramedic. I know you guys don't make a fortune, and I don't want to see you stuck paying rent for a place you're not even living in because your wife screwed you over." I almost cried at the unexpected kindness. "Thank you so much, Mr. Peterson. You have no idea how much this means. Don't mention it. I'll drop the paperwork this week." That small gesture gave me more hope than anything else had in days. Maybe there were still good people in the world. I was halfway through my shift that afternoon when Adam pulled me aside. "Dude, you need to see this." He showed me his phone. Someone had created a group text with basically everyone from our hospital. Must have been 40 people on it. The messages were all supportive. "Danny, we've got your back. You did the right thing exposing all of this. Anyone who says otherwise can deal with me. We're here if you need anything." I scrolled through dozens of similar messages from nurses, doctors, paramedics, even some people from dietary and housekeeping. It was overwhelming in the best way. "You're basically a legend around here now," Adam said, grinning. Guy who took down the hospital's drug ring. That's not how I want to be known. Too late. You're a hero whether you like it or not. The weeks that followed settled into a strange new routine. I worked my shifts, came home to my tiny studio apartment, tried to figure out who I was without Amanda in my life. The divorce process started, and just like her notebook had predicted, Amanda tried to make it difficult. She filed first, trying to control the narrative. Her filing was full of false accusations, claiming I was emotionally abusive, that I'd isolated her from friends and family, that I'd controlled all the finances. My lawyer took one look at it and laughed. This is the worst filing I've seen in years. She's making claims that are easily disproven, and she's doing it in a way that makes her look unhinged. I showed him the photos I'd taken of her notebook, the credit card statements, Adam's recording, all the evidence I'd been collecting. "Oh, this is perfect," my lawyer said, practically grinning. "She has no case. None. We'll file a counter motion with all of this evidence, and her lawyer will advise her to settle immediately or risk getting destroyed in court." He was right. 2 weeks later, Amanda's lawyer called mine asking for a settlement conference. Apparently, once they saw the evidence, they realized fighting was pointless. The settlement was simple. We'd split whatever was in our joint bank account, which was only about $3,000. I'd keep everything I'd already moved out. She'd keep everything still in the apartment. No alimony, no shared debts beyond what was already in both our names. Clean break. It was finalized in less than 2 months, which my lawyer said was record time. Meanwhile, the state nursing board opened their investigation into Amanda. I got a call from an investigator asking me to provide a statement. "I need to know everything you can tell me about Amanda Chen's behavior, both professionally and personally, that might be relevant to her fitness to practice nursing," the investigator said. I told her everything. The affairs, the blackmail, the theft, the drug dealing. I also mentioned what Amanda's brother had told me about her history of cheating and stealing, going back to high school and college. "That's very helpful," the investigator said. "We've received several other reports as well from hospital staff, from her previous employer, even from some of the patients she treated who felt her care was substandard. This is building into quite a substantial case. What happens if she loses her license? She'd be unable to practice nursing in this state and likely unable to get licensed in any other state either. It's a permanent mark on her record." Good, I thought. Maybe that would stop her from hurting other people. I ran into Dr. Kim in the hospital cafeteria a few weeks later. He looked better, less stressed, more like himself. "Hey, Danny," he said, sitting down with his lunch. "How are you holding up?" "Better than expected, honestly. You?" "Same. The hospital board cleared me of any disciplinary action since I was being coerced and came forward voluntarily. I'm just glad it's over." He paused. "I wanted to tell you something, though. After everything came out, I did some digging into Amanda's past." "What did you find?" "She got fired from her previous hospital job 3 years ago. Not just let go, fired. For boundary violations with patients' families, inappropriate relationships with staff, and suspected theft. Though they couldn't prove the theft part." My jaw dropped. "She never told me any of that. She said she left that hospital for better opportunities here." "I know, and here's the thing. The hospital she worked for before, they never reported any of it. Just let her resign quietly to avoid a scandal. If they'd actually reported her to the state board back then, she never would have been able to get hired here. All of this could have been prevented." That made me angry in a way I hadn't expected. How many people had been hurt because that hospital decided protecting their reputation was more important than doing the right thing? "I reported them," Dr. Kim said, as if reading my mind. "Sent everything I found to the state board. They're opening an investigation into why that hospital failed to report Amanda's violations. Apparently, it's a pretty serious issue." "Thank you for doing that." "Yeah, well, maybe it'll stop this from happening to someone else." I got an unexpected call one afternoon from Amanda's mother. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Danny, I hope it's okay that I'm calling," she said. Her voice sounded tired, defeated. "I wanted to meet with you if you're willing, just to talk." Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a coffee shop near the hospital. Mrs. Chen looked like she'd aged 10 years in the past month. She ordered a tea but barely touched it. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. "I know you have every reason to hate my whole family right now." "I don't hate you," I said honestly. "You didn't do anything wrong." I raised her, though. I must have done something wrong. She wiped her eyes. "Amanda's father and we've been talking a lot lately about where we went wrong. Looking back at patterns we should have noticed. Your son mentioned she's always been like this." Mrs. Chen nodded. "Since she was young, manipulative, dishonest, always looking for the easy way out. We kept making excuses, kept bailing her out of trouble. We thought we were helping her, giving her second chances, but really we were just teaching her that there were no real consequences for her actions." She pulled out her phone and showed me pictures. Amanda as a child, smiling for the camera. Amanda in high school, at graduation. They all looked so normal, so happy. "I look at these pictures and I wonder where we lost her," Mrs. Chen said. "Or if maybe she was always this way and we just refused to see it." "I don't think it's your fault," I said. "At some point, people have to take responsibility for their own choices. Still, I'm her mother. I should have have done better. She put her phone away. I want you to know that I don't blame you for any of this. I know Amanda's been telling people you're the villain, but I know that's not true. My daughter is sick, Danny. Maybe not in a way that medicine can fix, but sick, nonetheless. We talked for another hour. She told me stories about Amanda's childhood, about the warning signs they'd ignored, about the other people Amanda had hurt over the years. It painted a picture of someone who'd been broken for a long time, long before I'd ever met her. When we parted ways, Mrs. Chen hugged me. I hope you find someone who deserves you, she said. Someone honest and kind. You deserve better than what my daughter gave you. Thank you, I said. And I hope Amanda gets the help she needs. Me too, though I'm not holding my breath. The state nursing board's investigation moved forward. I heard through the grapevine that Amanda had already been denied positions at 3 different hospitals because word had gotten out about the investigation. The healthcare community is smaller than people think, and news travels fast. Dr. Harrison's situation was even worse. His medical license was suspended pending investigation. His private practice patients were reassigned to other cardiologists, and his wife's divorce attorney was absolutely destroying him in court. Apparently, she'd found even more evidence of his financial manipulation and fraud. Adam showed me an article in the local news about it. Prominent cardiologist under investigation for drug trafficking and fraud. They'd used his professional headshot, the one where he looked all distinguished and trustworthy. The irony was not lost on me. Life started feeling almost normal again. I picked up extra shifts to save money, made friends with some of my neighbors in the apartment building, started going to the gym again, something I'd stopped doing during my marriage because Amanda always complained I was spending too much time there. One evening, I got a notification on my phone. Amanda had tried to add me back on social media. I looked at her profile even though I knew I shouldn't. She'd posted some cryptic quote about betrayal and false friends, clearly trying to paint herself as the victim. The comments were mixed, some people supporting her, others calling her out. One comment caught my attention. It was from someone named Jennifer, who I recognized as one of Amanda's nursing friends from her previous hospital. Amanda, I told you years ago to get help and you refused. Now, look where you are. Stop blaming everyone else and take responsibility for once in your life. I screenshot it, then blocked Amanda on everything. I was done giving her space in my head. Dr. Cheng approached me in the parking lot one day as I was heading home. Danny, got a minute? Sure. What's up? He looked nervous, like he'd been working up the courage to talk to me. My wife wanted me to thank you. When all this came out with Amanda, I had to tell my wife everything about the falsified records, about how I'd been manipulated. I thought she'd leave me, but she didn't. No, she was angry, don't get me wrong, but she said she could tell I was being genuine about being coerced. And she appreciated that I came forward voluntarily instead of waiting to get caught. He smiled slightly. We've actually been talking more honestly than we have in years. It's like Amanda's manipulation had created this wall between us, and now that it's gone, we're actually connecting again. I'm really glad to hear that. She also wanted you to know that if you ever need anything, we're here, both of us. She feels like you saved our marriage by exposing Amanda before things got worse. These moments of gratitude from people Amanda had hurt kept surprising me. I'd thought exposing her would just create chaos, but instead it had freed people from her control. About 3 months after everything went down, I was sitting in my apartment one evening when I got a call from Martin Crawford, the hospital security chief. Danny, you should know that the police just arrested both Amanda and Dr. Harrison. They're being charged with conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, theft, fraud, a whole list of things. They'll be arraigned tomorrow morning. My heart sank, even though I'd known this was coming. Thanks for letting me know. There's more. The prosecutor wants to talk to you about possibly testifying at trial if it goes that far. You're not obligated to, but your testimony would be valuable. I'll do it, I said without hesitation. If it helps put them away, I'll testify. The arrest made local news. I watched the broadcast with Adam, seeing Amanda in handcuffs being led into the courthouse. She looked smaller somehow, defeated. Dr. Harrison was in a suit, still trying to look dignified, but the fear in his eyes was obvious. Crazy how different they look now versus a few months ago, Adam said. Remember when they were the hospital's power couple? That was a lie too, I said. Everything about them was a lie. The preliminary hearings took weeks. I met with the prosecutor several times going over my testimony, making sure I had the timeline straight. She told me Amanda's lawyer was trying to negotiate a plea deal, but the evidence was so overwhelming that the prosecutor wasn't interested in offering much leniency. She's looking at probably 3 to 5 years minimum, the prosecutor said. Dr. Harrison will likely get more since he was the primary organizer and his involvement was more extensive. What about nursing license? Oh, that's gone. Permanently revoked. She'll never work as a nurse again. It should have felt like justice, but mostly I just felt sad. Sad that someone I'd loved was capable of such things. Sad that so many people had been hurt. Sad that 3 years of my life had been built on lies. I was leaving work one evening when I heard someone call my name. I turned to see Dr. Nguyen, the attending physician Amanda had blamed for making her work too hard that night. I'd first confronted her. Danny, I heard what happened with your wife. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Thanks, Dr. Nguyen. I wanted to tell you something though. Amanda tried to seduce me last year. I thought I was imagining it at first. first, but she was definitely coming on to me. When I turned her down and reported it to HR, nothing happened. I even followed up multiple times, but HR told me they'd handled it internally and that I shouldn't worry about it. You reported her? I did, and they did nothing. If they'd taken it seriously then, maybe all of this could have been prevented. He shook his head. I feel partially responsible. You're not, I said firmly. You did the right thing by reporting her. It's HR's fault for not taking it seriously. Still, I should have pushed harder. After he left, I thought about how many times Amanda could have been stopped. How many warning signs had been ignored? How many people had tried to do the right thing only to be dismissed? The hospital administrators who'd ignored the reports got reprimanded, some even fired. But that didn't undo the damage. A few weeks later, the trial date was set. I got a formal subpoena to testify. The night before, I couldn't sleep. I kept rehearsing what I'd say, how I'd handle seeing Amanda in court, whether I'd be able to keep my emotions in check. Adam stayed with me that night, ordering pizza and putting on a mindless action movie to distract me. You're going to be fine tomorrow, he said. Just tell the truth. That's all you have to do. What if I freeze up? What if I say something wrong? You won't. You've been through way worse than sitting in a courtroom. You've dealt with this whole nightmare with more grace than most people could manage. Tomorrow will be just another day. He was right, but that didn't stop my hands from shaking the next morning as I walked into the courthouse. The courtroom was smaller than I'd expected, more intimate. Amanda sat at the defendant's table in a plain navy suit, her hair pulled back, looking nothing like the confident nurse I'd married. Dr. Harrison sat at a separate table, his lawyer whispering urgently in his ear. When I was called to testify, I walked to the witness stand on legs that felt like rubber. The prosecutor started with easy questions. My name, my occupation, how I knew the defendants. Then she moved into the harder stuff. Can you tell the court how you first discovered Mrs. Chen was engaged in illegal activity? I recounted Adam's recording, the credit card statements, everything that had led to that morning in the conference room. The prosecutor had me authenticate the audio recording, which was played for the jury. Amanda's voice filled the courtroom, bragging about her affairs, talking about my naivete, planning her future without me. Even after all this time, hearing it again still hurt. The defense attorney cross-examined me, trying to suggest I had ulterior motives for exposing Amanda. Isn't it true, Mr. Reeves, that you were angry about your wife's affairs and wanted revenge? I was hurt, I said carefully. But this wasn't about revenge. I discovered she was committing crimes. I had an obligation to report that. An obligation or an opportunity to hurt her back? An obligation, I repeated firmly. People's lives were at risk. Medications were being stolen. Staff was being blackmailed. This was way bigger than my personal feelings. The attorney tried a few more angles, but I'd prepared with the prosecutor and knew how to handle it. After about 30 minutes, I was excused. As I left the witness stand, I made eye contact with Amanda for the first time. She looked like she wanted to say something, but her lawyer put a hand on her arm, stopping her. The trial lasted 3 days. Other witnesses testified, Scott talking about the blackmail, Dr. Chang about the falsified records, the pharmacy director about the stolen medications. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Amanda broke down crying when the verdict was read. Dr. Harrison sat in stunned silence. Sentencing was scheduled for 2 weeks later. I didn't attend that hearing, couldn't bring myself to watch, but the prosecutor called me afterward to let me know the outcome. Amanda Chen was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison, she said. Dr. Harrison got 7 years. Both will have to pay restitution to the hospital and to the affected patients. Okay, I said, not sure how else to respond. You should also know that Dr. Harrison's medical license has been permanently revoked, and Amanda's nursing license is gone. Neither of them will work in healthcare again. After I hung up, I sat in my apartment and tried to process how I felt. Relief, maybe, vindication, but also emptiness, like a chapter of my life had closed, but I wasn't sure what the next one would look like. My phone rang. It was Adam. Did you hear? Yeah, I just got off with the prosecutor. How are you feeling? Honestly, I don't know. It's over, but it doesn't feel like I thought it would. That's normal, man. You're allowed to have mixed feelings. Want to grab dinner? Yeah, that sounds good. We went to our usual spot, a diner that serves breakfast 24 hours a day. Over pancakes and coffee, Adam raised his glass of water. To new beginnings, he said. To new beginnings, I echoed, clinking my glass against his. Life moved forward. I got promoted to senior paramedic after 6 months. Started dating someone new after a year, a teacher I met at a coffee shop who'd never heard of Amanda or the whole hospital scandal. It was refreshing to be with someone who knew me as just Danny, not the guy whose wife was a drug dealer. Sometimes I think about Amanda, wonder if prison changed her, or if she's still the same manipulative person she always was. But mostly, I've learned to let it go. The one thing I'm grateful for, besides the friends who supported me, is that I learned to trust my instincts again, to see red flags, to understand that love isn't enough if it's built on lies. I saw Mrs. Chen one more time, about a year after the sentencing. She was at the grocery store and we made eye contact across the produce section. She gave me a small, sad smile and a wave. I waved back. Some wounds never fully heal, but you learn to live around them. And that group chat Adam showed me that day, it's still active. We call it hospital family now, and it's full of people checking in on each other, sharing the good and bad parts of life, being honest about struggles. Sometimes the worst betrayals teach you who your real family is. My landlord, Mr. Peterson, Stopped by my new apartment a few months later with a bottle of wine. "Heard you got promoted," he said, shaking my hand. "Proud of you, kid. You've come a long way. Thanks. I couldn't have done it without people like you helping me out." He waved it off. "That's what decent people do. We help each other. Your ex-wife never understood that." After he left, I opened the wine and poured myself a glass. Sat on my balcony watching the city lights and thinking about everything that had happened.